So I disappeared for a while, but here I am back again with the another video for this expansion. I guess we're doing a artifact portal again. Yes. It didn't get a single new card in the mini, as you can see. All these are like non-new cards, but it seems there have been developments in the list since like early on in the expansion, so we're gonna try out this new version of artifact. The main concept is just to boil down the number of artifact cards you actually run to the bare minimum possible. So the only main deck artifacts we have is Reboot Button, Carnelia, Agil, Lazuli, and the Electric Rhino. And by doing this, we can make things like Spinara's. I should do this. We can make things like Spinara's artifact's ability to draw artifact cards as guaranteed as possible to maximize the chances of you drawing the actual necessary card. So we don't even run the Vamia, which is the damage shield. Vamia was a staple of the deck, but now that we have post-apocalyptic girls, we don't necessarily need her for her damage shield anymore. We can just get damage shield off this. It also provides healing, and it also helps us advance our artifact condition by putting analyzing artifacts into our deck. And well, best of all is that they also discount themselves 0, and we get through resonance quite fast because of how many times we draw and shuffle into our deck per turn. So the other thing of note, I guess, is that I'm only running 2 copies of Innis. You can run 3. You can probably drop something like Disseminator of Wisdom down. I'm just trying out 2, and so far 2 hasn't been that bad for me either. It doesn't feel that inconsistent. Other notable changes, we have Elena now. It's just a way to make use of the resonance by getting some damage. Yuan is 1 PP for 4 damage, which is quite efficient. It's the same level of efficiency as a Radiant artifact, so that's pretty strong. But of course, it's pretty useful only in the late game, and you can break on her since she's neutral. You can't fuse her into Agil either. Oops, did not mean to do that. You can't fuse her into Agil either, so for that reason we only ran 2 copies of her. And then lastly, we took out Laser Tyranny and replaced it with Homunculus as Advent. The reason why we do this is because mainly with all the Rhinos and the Radiant artifact dying, and now Yuan, we cannot have enough damage without Laser Tyranny, and Laser Tyranny doesn't draw cards for you, so it can sort of clog out your deck in the late game where you're trying to draw more useful cards, but you just keep drawing Laser Tyranny and you keep shuffling more Laser Tyrannies every time you play Laser Tyranny, which is not great. So we run Homunculus Advent, who doesn't add itself back into the deck after you play it. And also because we are running a more limited scope of artifact followers in our deck, this guaranteed artifact search is more valuable than when we were running a bunch of different artifacts. And then finally we run Duel of Destiny. Duel of Destiny is super strong when you're going second. 0 PP to summon 2 artifacts after Agil's active is quite insane. So yeah, this is the list that we're running today. Let's just jump into some games now. So our first game for today is against Shadow, and we are going first here. Shadow is most likely Last Word Shadow. Last Word is very common right now. For the Mulligan, I like to keep our early artifact shufflers. Innis is nice if you're going first and you don't have Agil. And then Retrafia, it depends on matchup, I guess. But in this case, since we have Lazuli and Homunculus Advent, which are great for shuffling cards into our deck, we just keep those. Pick up the Agil as well, which is nice. So we'll just go ahead and get the Homunculus Advent out of the way. Now we could also play the Spinaria, but I think Last Words has ways to clear it, so I don't really want to do that. Right now, Homunculus Advent, so we can go ahead and set that up. And now we're gonna put out the Spinaria. At this point, we don't really need the artifact search all that much. We pick up the Retrafia as well, which is very nice. And that's the Dark Alice from them, so our Spinaria artifact lives. Turn 3 Lazuli is very strong. It's a very strong play, like in general, so we just tend to play that usually. Go ahead and punch them in the face as well. There's the Desert Wanderer, so they will be able to clear our Lazuli here with the Dark Alice, which is fine. We don't really care that much. And they set a Corpse Crusher as well. Or they played 2 to get enough shadows for the first one, for the second one to work, I guess. And then we have the last Homunculus Advent in our hand as well. So first we're gonna go ahead and draw an artifact, analyzing artifact of the Spinaria, which is good. You can go ahead and use this analyzing artifact to start drawing through our deck. Trying to pick up good cards. Duel of Destiny, that's not bad. And then we use Homunculus Advent to try and find the Rhino. Homunculus Advent will guarantee you search an artifact after you have at least 6 artifacts shuffled, and we are at 8 now, so yeah, We're trying to find the rhino, unfortunately they haven't picked it up yet. My opponent plays the Desert Wanderer, so pretty standard last words gameplay from them. There's the Dark Atlas coming out as well. If we drew Elena here, there is consideration for maybe using Elena, but I think just getting Aegil active is more important, so go ahead and fuse the Aegil here. Honestly, probably should have fused the Ines instead. I don't think it matters too much in the grand scheme of things, but probably fusing Ines there was a bit better. Go ahead and trade here. We try to trade in a way that leaves our board more empty, I guess. There's the analyzing artifact as well. It's nice artifact, and then here we go ahead and trade our last words to just draw cards. We do leave an Lazuli, but honestly denying trade targets against last words is not that valuable now that a lot of their last words is from trees anyway. Got the Radiant artifact as well, which is nice. There's the Dark Atlas from the opponent here, and the Rebellion Outlaw here. Go ahead and use the Ruler in the Necropolis, which will pick them up, and there's that Wanderer which they can evolve here to pop out another tree. And they are at 11 last words, so this last Dark Atlas will evolve. And there's the second Dark Atlas, so we have to watch out for that next turn. A bunch of damage to face, we are now quite low at 12. Look at our opponent, they don't have the Tsukuyomi coming out next turn, so that's worth noting here. So our goal is to heal out of range, because at this point we are very much within like easy lethal range. Thankfully we do pick up the post-apocalyptic girls, which we can use to protect our face. Here there is a bit of a weird interaction. You can see this analyzing artifact didn't get the rush. The reason why is because when this first ancient artifact comes into play, it popped Retrafia. So Retrafia's amulet wasn't on board, but Retrafia's main body hasn't come out yet, so it's like in the in-between state between the artifact, the amulet destroying, but the last words hasn't activated yet. So because there is no Retrafia amulet or Retrafia herself on board, this analyzing artifact didn't actually get rushed, which I didn't know until now, but it works like that apparently. So let's go in manual evo here. Get the Radiant artifact. Poke them in the face for a bit and then use the Disseminator of Wisdom to try and draw artifacts. We haven't found our Rhino yet. We can try to do that. Gotta steal Uncongregation once again to find the Rhino. We do pick up the Rhino here, which is cool. And we go ahead and set up Post-Apocalyptic Ghosts to heal. The reason why I didn't pick the Radiant Machinery there is because I was gonna heal with Post-Apocalyptic Ghosts anyway. And I think I need to finish that next turn or else I'm doomed, and as you can see I don't quite have enough in my hand right now to finish next turn, so my hope is that Steel Uncongregation will pick me up something to kill the next turn here. Last Words deals most of the damage in 5s, so we're at 17, which means with a damage shield and there's no Tsukuyomi to pop the shield, so if they want to pop it they have to either spend 2 PP on the Tsukuyomi or they can spend 1 PP on the Fiery Strike, which will pop the shield, but that will also put us at 17, which means they have to pop 2 Dark Atlases plus either a 3rd Dark Atlas or Soul Strike, and then they need to get another 2 damage, which I think is quite unlikely for me to die this turn, so I go ahead and use Steel Arm instead to hopefully try to pick up enough damage for lethal next turn. Go ahead and just pop the artifact there. There's not really any reason to do it or not to do it, but we go ahead and just use our PP while we have it, I guess. If you're looking to play Die next turn, every 1 PP counts because Die himself costs a whole 6 PP. And they do get the Tsukuyomi there, so that's our damage shield, and there's the Kagero. But thankfully at this point they shouldn't have a way to kill us. So that's the Night Terrors. Dark Atlas back into the Amulet, and there's the Soul Flash. Oh, it's called Soul Flash, not Soul Strike. And we do live here, so that's fine. Got another Radiant artifact which is gonna be lethal, so we go ahead and take the Radiant artifact here. Take the second one as well. Hit them in the face, and then we can go ahead and play Die. Even though it's not active yet, the 5 damage is enough, so we go ahead and finish them off here, and let's move on to the next game. So our next game here, we are going second against a Portal. Artifact is definitely the most popular Portal deck right now. This hand's pretty good. I think I just keep all of this. Either I toss for Retrafia. No, I think I keep all. Yeah, these are all pretty good cards to have, so we just go ahead and keep them. Try to get Aegil active. There is no Aegil in our hand, but when I play this deck, I just sort of expect that I'll eventually draw the Aegil. And go ahead and greet our opponents. They greeted us, and then we go ahead and use the Post-Apocalyptic Girls. Pick up the Homunculus at advantage is pretty decent. And there's the Evana from them, so they are playing a more diluted version, unlike the one we are playing. Now the Seminar with them isn't great. We go ahead and just set up the Retrafia here and then play the Homunculus Advent to draw into our deck. And there's the Lazuli from them, so their curve is pretty solid. Some damage here from the Evamia, which is fine. Go ahead and play the Lazuli here. This is another 2 artifacts. Now we just have to shuffle one more set, which we can do with the Homunculus Advent. And then trade into the Lazuli to reduce the damage coming to our face, I guess. Someone plays Post-Apocalyptic Girls, followed by Laser Tyranny, so they are playing the laser version as well, which we are not playing. And then looks like they have much else to do, so they just passed. Fortunately, haven't picked up Aegil yet, so we're gonna go ahead and use Spinara's artifact to try to draw Aegil. We trade it off, and we do not pick up the Aegil here, which is a bit of a shame. Yuan's Fervor refunds 2 PP when you play it, so we go ahead and play it now. And then just go ahead and trade off the Ancient to try and draw cards. We pick up the Radiant, which is not quite what we need. And we are Artifact. Against Artifact, I think you really need to heal even if you are not too low. We go ahead and pick up the Radiant Machinery here to make sure we can heal. Unfortunately, we haven't found Aegil yet. My opponent does have the Aegil though. We go ahead and evolve the Aegil here. There's the Analyzing Artifact. Thankfully, they don't have Retrafia, so their trading power is quite limited. Looks like they don't have anything else to do, so they just pass. We have the Innes here, which is good because that will give us the Aegil that we need. Let me go ahead and fuse the Disseminator. We have enough self-destruction cards with Dine and one Disseminator, so we go ahead and fuse the second one here. And play the Aegil here, which will heal us a bit as well, which is good. We're going to play the Analyzing Artifact here. Now we have to find our Rhino. Pick up another Retrafia, which is fine. Our first Retrafia also comes out, not too bad. Go ahead and use the Radiant's Last Word to try to draw the Rhino, which we don't, unfortunately. We have the Ancient as well, still no Rhino. And we go ahead and set up the Retrafia number 2 for next turn. Fortunately, our hand not looking too good right now. Hopefully our opponent's hand isn't great either. There's the Elena, so they are playing that as well. We don't really play Elena. You can if you want to. My logic for not running her is that the images that she adds into your deck will dilute the deck, so I don't really like that, so I don't run her. But there's the Evermare from my opponent as well. It's not quite at auto evolve range yet, so that's good for us. And then they left our Trafia alive. I guess they couldn't clear it, which is good. We can get the Innes off our board here and set up the Lazuli. And draw. Pick up the Homunculus Advent and we pick up an Aegil. Still no Rhinos. We will play the Aegil, who searches for an artifact. Unfortunately, still no Rhino. So that's a bit of a shame. We go ahead and evolve the Retrafia here and just hit them in the face with it. Homunculus Advent to hopefully try to draw a artifact, and then we go ahead and ping them in the face with the laser as well. Still no we still haven't drawn our other Radiants yet as well, which hopefully we do. I'm gonna place double Carnelia, I guess, to get playing the first Carnelia destroys the Amulet on board, which lets the second Carnelia evolve for free, which is what my opponent was going for. There's the Keenage, my opponent's gonna use the heal, and they do pick up the Rhino as well, so we're gonna go ahead and play that. And the second Rhino as well. Things aren't looking great for me. Thankfully I have I'm definitely much more favored in health. They are at 10, but unfortunately Dine, his count is very slow without the Rhinos active, so we have to worry about that. Got another Dine, which we really don't need right now. Try to pick up another Rhino here. We do finally pick up the Rhino, which is good. We finally get going with that, so we're going to play the Rhino here. We're going to play Analyzing Artifact to try to draw the other Rhino. Pick up Radiant here. Pick up a second Radiant, we can just kill them. We do pick up a second Radiant, so we just kill them. So in the end, the Rhinos didn't really end up doing anything, which is a bit of a shame, but I mean, I guess it goes to show you can sometimes win without the Rhino. So that's it for this game. Let's move on to the next game. So our last game for the day, we are going first against Haven. Haven has 2 popular decks. I think Amulet is becoming more popular now that people are done with the honeymoon phase of playing evil. So I think Amulet is probably just more popular now. Sisterly Bonds is nice for helping you draw in the early game, so we keep that, and then we keep the Lazuli as course cause she shuffles. A bit of an unfortunate role here, picking up both Elenas early on. She's quite useless. And there's the Sweetheart Feather for my opponent, which will turn into our artifact here. So we do a regular non-artifacts draw, and we do pick up the Retrafia. Nothing to do this turn. We could fuse, but we only have Retrafia as a fuse option, which we don't really want to fuse. So we go ahead and just pass here and play the Lazuli here. Lazuli will shuffle more cards as well as give us Homunculus Advent, which will help us shuffle more cards, which is good. I'm gonna place the Nature and Peace here and play both. Oh, they play one and then they go and set up the Meowskers for next turn, I guess, or the turn after. So we're going to hit face here, nothing else to do. Got the Retrafia. We do use the reboot button. Unfortunately, we don't really want to fuse any of the cards in our hand, so we do have to waste the reboot button here just to get to big shuffles. But now that we are there, we should hopefully be able to get going next turn. You can trade off your suits. And Desert Wanderer as well, which is pretty strong. Go ahead and evolve that to get their trees amulet count going. Their amulet count is currently at 7, which is very fast, and they go ahead and use this Shining Prayer to pop Meowskers as well to banish our Lazuli, which is a bit of a shame, but I guess it's fine. That's the Wingbeat of Prayer for my opponent. Here we have to decide what to fuse here. We go ahead and fuse Duo of Destiny. Duo of Destiny is definitely not as useful when you're going first, so it's less of a priority. Eagle gets to search artifacts, which can pick us up our what's it called? Rhino, which we want. So we go ahead and keep Eagle. We trade Spinara first. See if this can draw us the Rhino. It does pick up the Rhino here. Honestly, it's probably fine to just play the Rhino here, but I guess I decide not to. Use the Eagle here. Go ahead and trade off the Eagle. Go on Analyzing, which we're going to trade off as well. This will reduce our Rhino down to 1 cost, and we can play both Rhinos this turn, which is a good setup for next turn, I guess, hopefully. And then we have 1 spare PP over here, so we'll just go ahead and use it to pick up Yuan off the Elena here. It's better to do that when you have time, because Elena does take up 1 board space, so if you do it later on, you might fill out your board too much, which is pretty bad when you're playing Artifact. And there's the Lena for my opponent, so they go ahead and pop both of our Rhinos here. My opponent trades carefully here, keeping their followers at 5 health, because 5 health was actually the most annoying amount for Artifact to clear, so good on my opponent for doing that to us, I guess. We can play the Carnelia here. Evolve the Carnelia. I'm pretty sure it was a misplay to train the Concordia, but I guess I did, so I'm going to do that. Play the Analyzing Artifact to draw more cards, hopefully try to find our Rhino. Still no sign of our Rhinos that we shuffled in. A Duo of Destiny here. Go ahead and just play that. It only refunds us 1 PP, so when you're going first it costs 3 play points. I mean 2 play points, which is not bad. We're going to just use Dyne to clear that board here. Pass. There's the Angel of the Covenant from my opponent. Let's go ahead and play Selena as well. We did save our evil point here, so Selena will not be able to refund them play points, which is good. Which they can't kill us this turn. Go ahead and trade. Then they play Mums to get rid of our Retrafia, which is a bit of a shame. So here, Amulet Haven is known for their ridiculous amounts of damage, so we definitely go ahead and heal back to full with the Radiant Machinery here. Our hand is quite full anyway. Then we use this turn to try to set up for a lethal next turn, so we go ahead and ping them with the artifact. And then just set up more Lazulis to try to draw into more Radiance to kill them next turn is the goal. Got the Rhino, which is also fine. That's the Fire Reproach, which is going to be used to pop the Mums, which will clear our board. Second Fire Reproach as well to carry out that tree. And then there's the Seraph of the True Key. We are still alive, thankfully. It's very nice. So, thankfully they don't have Serpent's Blessing, which is very good for us here. So we go ahead and go for a nice board log here. We go ahead and summon the... Actually, I should have summoned the Radiant Machinery first, so this was a misplay. I didn't notice I had it in hand, so... we go ahead and then trade off the Rhinos here. And then here we use Disseminator of Wisdom on the Rhino, because we want to put this at 3 health so that Elena can banish it. Go ahead and play the Elena here. Discard the Innes, which is not very useful. So we can set our own damage here while banishing their Seraph, which locks their board with amulets. Next turn, the Wingbeats of Prayer will pop, which will fully lock their own board. So if they don't have a way to destroy their own amulets, they will have to pass the turn, I guess. It looks like they don't, so they go ahead and just trade into Elena here and just pass here. Now they're at 17, which we'll be able to kill them from here. So we go ahead and play the Rhino here. Go and trade off the Rhino first before we start drawing, so that we can make maximize chance of drawing more Rhinos. Here we play that. And draw another Rhino. Unfortunately, well, now Dyne is active, I guess. So we go ahead and do the 10 damage here. And we go ahead and set up you. And you have to remember, I didn't actually know the order that these effects work. So I thought that the amulets will pop and activate their effects before Yuan did. So I played 2 Yuan to make sure that even if this mums popped and destroyed one of our Yuans, the other one will kill them, which ends up being not necessary because Yuan activates first. So that's the end of this game. That's all the games I have for you today. I definitely like how this list feels. I think it feels a lot better to play than the old versions that had a ton of different artifacts stuffed in. I think they're keeping it very streamlined, maximizing the consistency of drawing cards like Aegil and the Rhino, which are your key cards, as well as the Radiant artifact. Yeah, so I do really like this list. I think it's the more fun list out there if you're trying to play artifacts. So yeah, I do recommend it if you are looking to play artifact. Of course, you can mix and match, but I think keeping the artifact types down to just these 5 cards is pretty good. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.